What happens when you drive the Dacia Bigster for 48 hours without stopping? No sleep, no shortcuts. Just one SUV pushed to its absolute limit. What I discovered completely changed my opinion of this budget family SUV. Welcome back to Supercar. After 2 full days behind the wheel, I found strengths I never expected and weaknesses no ordinary test drive would ever reveal. Let's get started. You probably think this is just another SUV review with a catchy title, but I have not slept in 2 full days. My body is running on adrenaline and gas station coffee. And the reason I pushed myself to the absolute limit will make you question everything the automotive industry has been selling you. When the Bigster arrived at our garage last week, I made a decision that seemed stupid even to my own team. I was not going to do a standard road test. I wanted to know if an affordable family SUV could survive a non-stop 2-day marathon across motorways, mountain passes, bumper-to-bumper city traffic, and freezing coastal roads without a single break. No hotels, no showers, no relief, just me, the road, and 48 hours of continuous driving. Most people assume you need a luxury badge, massaging seats, and a 6-figure price tag to endure that kind of punishment. I assumed the exact same thing. I was wrong, and the proof started showing itself within the first hour. By hour 6, I realized the seat design was either going to be my best friend or my absolute worst enemy. And what happened next genuinely surprised me in a way that no showroom test drive ever could. The first half day was all about settling in and waiting for the compromise to appear. I pushed the Bigster onto the motorway, set the adaptive cruise control, and waited for the cheap plastic fatigue to kick in. I waited for the lumbar support to collapse. I waited for the road noise to drill into my skull. It never did. The seats, which look almost basic in press photos, have this unexpected long-haul support, architecture that outlasted my own energy reserves. The suspension soaked up expansion, joints and potholes like a vehicle costing twice the price. I kept waiting for the rattle. I kept waiting for the backache. Instead, I found myself 8 hours in, still physically comfortable, still mentally alert, and genuinely confused about where Dacia had hidden the compromise that every other journalist insists must exist. When the sun went down and the temperature dropped, I expected the worst part of the challenge to begin. But the Bigster had a secret weapon that luxury brands rarely talk about honestly in their glossy brochures. Night driving is where most endurance tests completely fall apart. Your eyes strain against oncoming headlights. The cabin becomes a rolling prison. The road narrows to whatever your headlight beam allows you to see. But the Bigster's LED matrix lighting, which I initially dismissed as budget-grade hardware, illuminated the road with this crisp, wide, perfectly color-tempered beam that reduced eye fatigue in a way I did not think was possible at this price point. The digital instrument cluster dimmed intelligently. The climate control held temperature without that annoying micro-adjustment cycle that usually wakes you up every 20 minutes. I drove through midnight, through 3 a.m., through the dead zone where most long-haul drivers start hallucinating road signs that do not exist. I did not hallucinate. I just kept driving, mile after mile, and the car never once felt like it was punishing me for choosing the affordable option. At the 24-hour mark, I pulled into a service station for fuel and made a discovery that made me question nearly everything I have ever said about economy cars on this channel. I expected catastrophic fuel economy. I was driving aggressively to stay awake, constantly adjusting speed, fighting crosswinds on the coastal route, and using every electronic aid to keep me between the lines. The tank should have been bone dry. Instead, the Bigster had sipped fuel so efficiently that I had nearly 100 kilometers of unexpected range left in reserve. But the real shock was not the miles per gallon. It was the sheer mechanical reliability. 48 hours of non-stop operation is brutal on any vehicle. Fluids heat cycle, electronics glitch from constant voltage loads, interior materials off gas and stink. The Bigster smelled like nothing but faint leather and determination. The infotainment system, which internet reviewers love to mock, never froze, never rebooted, never lagged. The lane keeping assist, which I expected to be a useless gimmick, actually reduced my steering workload during the foggy early morning hours when my reaction time had slowed to a crawl. This was not just surviving. This was thriving in conditions that would break far more expensive machinery. If you think the last 12 hours were simply about me fighting to stay awake and not crashing into a ditch, you are only half right, because the car itself revealed something in that final stretch that no spec sheet, no press drive, and no dealership brochure will ever show you. Hour 36 to hour 48 is where the human body officially quits. My legs ached in places I did not know had muscles. My vision blurred at the edges. My brain begged for shutdown. But the Bigster, it felt tighter, more responsive, more alive than when I had started. The engine, this supposedly humble turbocharged 3-cylinder that the internet loves to underestimate, had not lost a single horsepower of enthusiasm. The steering, which felt light and disconnected at hour 1, now felt precise, communicative, and almost eager at hour 40. I realized something deeply disturbing. The car was not deteriorating. I was, and in that twisted, sleep-deprived moment, I understood that Dacia did not build a cheap SUV. They built an honest, unpretentious machine that respects the driver so much, it simply refuses to let you down even when you are actively falling apart behind the wheel. So here is the truth that nobody expected, least of all me. The Bigster is not just good for the price. It is good, full stop. 48 hours of non-stop. Merciless abuse proved that you do not need to spend luxury money to get luxury-grade endurance, comfort, and reliability. If this video changed your mind about what a budget SUV is capable of, smash that like button. Subscribe to Supercar for more completely unhinged automotive endurance tests. And drop a comment below telling me what car I should absolutely destroy next. I'm going to sleep for approximately 3 days. I will see you in the next one. With